Hello, welcome to the Flower Species channel. So I wanted to make a video about today and what I saw on the news and what everybody has seen unfolding over and over and over again with the school shootings. And I live far, far away from Santa Fe, Texas, and I don't know anybody in the school that had to go through such a horrible tragedy. My initial reaction was, this is not happening again. It's not. I was vacuuming, and Poppy Harlow was on CNN, and I had CNN on earlier in the day. I was watching New Day, and I just left the TV on while I was vacuuming, and then I saw the breaking news. And I don't know, there was something that resonated with me, like Poppy Harlow seemed to be just taking the information in almost the same way Anderson Cooper is starting to look like, really? Another active shooter? What's going on? You know, like, she was trying to get the information, and as the information was coming in, she was being very, very cautious to unfold and to stay with it, because the details were really sketchy. And right away there was a woman that called in, just like the Parkland shooting, where a mother of her daughter was at the school, but he had gotten away and was staying at the Walmart and had gone to safety and was told to stay there and wait. And her husband took off to go get her daughter, and she was talking and relaying information to, I believe it was Brooke, who was unfolding that news. And then later we didn't hear from those people at all, and all of that seemed blurry, and they just started interviewing people right away. And that was the same thing that happened today. A woman called in, her name, I believe her name was Angie Martinez, and she called and said that her daughter had called frantically and saying there was a shooter in the school, and that there was a fire drill, and that all the kids were told to go out, and the teachers were saying stay put, which is what happens with a lockdown. And that she knew instinctively with some of her other friends to run. And her mother, she had called her mother, and her mother said, run and hide, and go to the gas station that was near there, and she would come pick her up right away. And her daughter was actually home with her already, and it was about 9:40, and I believe this happened around 8 something in the morning. And it was a 14-year-old girl named Angelica Martinez who started explaining that they were just getting ready for first period, and all this broke out, and the teachers were saying, you know, stay still, stay here, and some of the kids were just running, and she ran with them. And I guess, you know, my thought is, all these drills are desensitizing kids to it's becoming normal to them to have a drill and know what to do and have these active shooter drills. And their initial reaction is, well, it's just a drill. It's just another drill. And then when they realize it could be the real thing, and they're being lined up to stay still and locked down, that makes them shooting targets. And I think for me right away, I thought several things, but I thought, is this a drill gone wrong? Is this an active drill? Because the young lady was saying that they had just had a drill and prepared for this. And short, and I thought, how weird. It's always they just hit a drill. So does some kid get it in their head that, oh, there was a drill, I know exactly where they're going to be, how they're going to respond, so whatever. The news that's unfolding is like, well, it couldn't have been planned on a whim. He had too much going on. This guy, he had enough ammunition. He had a sawed-off shotgun. He had another gun. He had explosives. He had pressure cooker bombs. So I wanted to talk about something that really irritated me this, and while it was going on, I was thinking about the school shootings. 2 weeks, I came due for renewing my driver's license. Our driver's licenses are good for 8 years in New York State, and this year mine came due on my birthday, so I made sure to get down there. My birthday was on the 15th, so I wanted to get down there by the 7th to the DMV. And we had a choice. We could get a real ID, which we can get a standard driver's license, just renew it for $64.50, and just bring in our expired license, and then 2 documents proving who we were. But there were 2 other options: a real ID, which allowed us to get onto go into federal buildings, but not go onto a domestic airplane. And then the EDL, if it was extended driver's license upgrade, which you paid your $64.50 plus $30, and you brought in your birth certificate, your social security number, 3 proofs of where you live, and your expired driver's license. With the extra $30, you get your EDL license. And then you could go to across the border, you could get on a domestic airplane, and you could enter federal buildings. Well, I need to enter federal buildings, and I'd like to be able to have the option to take a domestic plane if I need to. And certainly if somebody ever wanted to say, hey, want to go to Toronto? Want to go to Montreal? Want to go to Canada? Want to go to Niagara Falls? I'd want to be able to do that without having to have a passport and all this other stuff. And by October 2020, we will have to have the EDL or real ID. I believe it's the EDL because the real ID doesn't prove you're a U.S. citizen. Okay, so not only that, if you we're gonna do your online, if you're going to renew your license online or by mail, you had to then go to specific ophthalmologists and pass your eye test. So you had to have 3 forms of ID that were picture IDs with your proper name and address that showed you lived where you lived. This is my picture, and with your name you were going to have on your driver's license. Well, I went in with my expired license. I grabbed everything. I grabbed my utility bill, my lease. I had more than enough stuff. I had my lease, my receipt from rent, my cable bill, and my utility bill. I had my original birth certificate, which has my maiden name on it. And I will be changing. I generally just use my full name because I got divorced in 1982. I've been divorced a long time, and I only kept my married name for my kids. My kids are grown. They're in their 30s now. Don't need that name. But I knew I was going to have to go to Social Security office first, get a new Social Security card, before I could change the name. So I waited in line at the DMV, and I thought I don't want to do the online one, because then I would have to make another eye appointment. And So I went in, I waited my 90 minutes in the line, and I'm blessed enough to have a DMV within like walking distance. So I just walked around the corner to the DMV and took a book with me and some knitting and waited in the line, took a number, went and sat down, waited for my number to be called. When it got to the information desk, gave all my information, and she said, what are you trying to do here? I said, I would like to do my EDL. It was $64.50 for the driver's license, plus $30 for the EDL if you did it right then. And I handed everything over to the lady, and she said, well, your birth certificate says a different name. I said, that's my maiden name. And I said, but here's 4 cards that say my full name. So my maiden name and my name that I had on my driver's, like my married name was on it because I used the full name now. But some of those things you can't write the full name out because there isn't enough room. And some of my things are still in that name because they couldn't type it all into like my full name. So I know in some cultures you never give up your maiden name. You just keep your full name. So I knew I had at home my divorce decree, which said you can go back to a judge order saying you can go back to your maiden name. So I was like, okay. So I had that, just in case. And just, geez, you've got just about everything, but this birth certificate is confusing it. And usually they ask for the original birth certificate. So because I didn't have a birth certificate with my new married name on it from 1982, I had to pay the $64.50 and go with a standard license. I couldn't get the real ID or the EDL. So I said, well, I'm showing you, I had my Social Security card, which was one of those like gold embossed one with my maiden name. I had that. I even had a medical record with me with my full name on it. I had QVC card with my full name on it. I had a debit card with my full name on it. I had my cable bill with my married name on it and my RG&E with my full name on it. So I had plenty of stuff with me. And the lady kept saying to me, well, it got really ridiculous. She kept saying, well, and she was looking at my divorce decree, my leave, everything. It's like, I'm trying to prove who I am here. Tons of picture ID that took out every college ID I had, every school ID, all this stuff. No. Pay your $64.50. Go home. Bring us back your marriage certificate. Marriage certificate. I'm just really glad I didn't have a divorce party and burn my marriage certificate. Okay, so keep that. So I said, okay, so I have to go home and get that. And I could have just left and walked home and gotten it and been done. But I was thinking, where the heck did I put that? It would have been with my divorce decree. It would have been with my birth certificate. And I'm going to have to look for that. I don't want to take any chances. I might as well just get the standard license for the $64.50. I said, okay, so when I come back with my marriage certificate and my divorce decree and the birth certificate, that's not good because whatever. She said, oh, don't worry, we can scan that. But we need to see the marriage certificate. Okay. I said, I don't even drive. I don't even have a car, but if I haven't driven since 2010, but if I wanted to rent a car, if I was ever in a situation where you don't want to give it up, right? They don't care about that anyway. Took the little eye test that I was really worried about. I took it, read line 7, passed it. Bam, just like that. Do you have any corrective lenses on? No. Passed it. she was surprised. She said, usually, we get a few wrong, and we got. She said, good for you. Yeah. Okay. Stood there, took my picture. She said it'll be 7 to 10 days, and you'll get your photo ID in the mail. When you go to come back to do the EDL license or Real ID, whatever you choose, it'll be more like 3 to 4 weeks wait, and $40 to $50 because they add on $12 for not doing it the same day. So I guess my question is, why do we go through all this for a driver's license, but anybody can go get explosives, ammos, rifles, guns, and just... I'm on Medicaid, Medicare. Every couple of months I go to the welfare office and I pay my spend down so that I could have Medicaid, which means I pay a certain amount of money that is over the amount that I'm eligible or whatever, so I pay that in cash so that I can have Medicaid. I go down like clockwork every 2 months and I pay 2 months worth at a time of medical. In order to walk into the welfare office, I have to go through a metal detector, take off my coat, they check your socks, they check your purse, they check everything. Wave you, wand, whole bit. If you go into the Social Security office, you gotta do that too. So what? If you go to an airport, they do that. So I guess what I'm wondering is, even with armed policemen in schools, children are still dying, teachers are still dying, people are still dying, and kids are still able to walk in with guns and explosives. I don't understand it. I don't understand how we don't have better gun laws. I do not understand how we don't have those kind of checks and balances. We've made it so hard to get a driver's license now, because now you're going to need a driver's license to vote. And I just got my driver's license in the mail yesterday, and man, first thing I saw on it is it's black and white, and there's that chip on it. That chip, it's there. That chip that is showing up on everything is there. It was never on our license before. You go to a doctor's office, you have to show your license. You have to fill out electronic things and show your license. Go to get blood work, you have to show your license. But if you don't have stuff, you can't do it. But anybody can walk into a gun shop and just get a gun. And just walk into a school with pressure cooker bombs and IEDs and explosives and guns. And I don't understand it. I really don't. And I'm sitting here tonight watching CNN, and I don't think Anderson Cooper understands it either. He's trying to get the information. Chris Como's in Texas already, and I was like, wait a minute, didn't I just see him this morning on New Day? How did he get there so fast? What? These people, they really do work. They really work these to try to get to the facts and get the information to us and get it proper and do everything. But I mean, they're already planning for a vigil tonight, and it's just, no, prayers aren't enough. Prayers aren't enough. Vigils, memorials, prayers, it's just not enough. Why do we love our guns so much? I don't love guns, but I mean, evidently some people do. Feel they have a right to bear arms. It's frustrating. It's very frustrating. And then the little details that come out later, that you can't just put this on mental health. It can't just be, oh, well, those people can't, or this or that, or there were no red flags, but there were. If you're walking into a school with a trench coat on, a long trench coat on, and big boots in 90-degree weather every day in Texas, and nobody's questioning that, nobody's saying, hey, nobody's searching their locker, saying, hey, what's under the coat? I just don't get it anymore. I just don't. And I think that these drills, although it makes the hospitals prepared and the first responders prepared, I'll never forget the Orlando shooting where everybody was just like, okay, we're locked down, we're stuck. And they were like shooting, they were like target. I mean, if you lock down in a room, you're all trying to be quiet, these kids, they're familiar with it. The shooters are familiar. They know the grounds. They know what's going to happen. They know, okay, it's quiet in that room, but they're in there. I just don't think that's a safe way to handle it anymore. I don't know what the answers are, but I know if they can make it so hard to get a driver's license, they gotta make it hard to get guns. And if it turns out to be that the parents had these guns, the father, I guess, had guns, and this shooter got the guns, then then we as adults have to be inconvenienced to get guns. Very inconvenienced to get guns. And then maybe we won't have so many guns. I just don't understand the need for so many guns. And that's all I really wanted to say, is I am going to pray for the people that are put in this situation over and over again, but you shouldn't have to prepare to possibly die to go to school, a shopping mall, a nightclub, to walk on a street corner, to go to a marathon and run. Shouldn't have to prepare to go to a concert. Maybe we need metal detectors. Maybe we need cameras everywhere. I don't know. I just think there's something very wrong with this gun situation, and that's all I wanted to say. So that's my little video, and I don't have the answers. I don't think anybody does. If we don't want to be inconvenienced, if we don't want to let go of, I don't own a gun. I will never own a gun. I have no need for a gun. But I understand there are some people that feel they need to have a gun to protect themselves for whatever reason. I've always felt like if you're not really, if you don't really know how to use that gun, and it's not really available to you, it's not really, somebody else is going to get hurt with it, or you're going to get hurt with it. I think that people with these guns, they have a definite intent, and they know they're going to go kill, and so they're prepared to use their guns. And it's just very sad, and very, I think we're becoming desensitized to it, and that's even sadder. I just turned 59, and I am very glad that I don't have any kids in school. If I had to do it all over again in this day and age, I would be homeschooling. I know you can't protect your kids forever from everything, but my God, I would be homeschooling. If I had grandchildren right now, I would be encouraging my kids to homeschool them, or I would say bring them to me. I will homeschool them. I will read to them. I will take them to where they need to go to get their books, to do what they need to do. I would do what I will encourage them to do art, music, history, learn all the subjects. I would do it because we can't have our schools be war zones, and that's the only answers I know right now. So I just wanted to make a video about it because it's really bothering me. Okay, that's all I want to say. Keep blooming bright wherever you are, and stay well. Take care. Bye-bye.